1. Introduction. My name is Dina. I am 23 years old. I live in a small town where life is simple. My biggest dream is to become an engineer. I want to move to America to study and work in this field. I believe that engineering can change the world, and I want to be a part of that. I study hard every day, reading many books and learning new things. However, my family is poor. We do not have much money for my education or for me to travel. My father has a different plan for me. He tells me that I must marry a rich man from our town. He believes this marriage will bring money to our family and make our lives easier. My father thinks that money is more important than my dream. My mother understands my feelings. She often feels sad about my father's plan. Sometimes at night, she cries quietly. She tells me, "Dina, you must follow your own dream. Do not be afraid to fight for what you want." Her words give me a little strength. But still, my family, especially my father, pushes me to marry for money. This makes me feel very worried about my future. I do not want to marry a man I do not love. I want to build my own life, but it feels very difficult. One day, I go to the town library. The library is a quiet place where I can study and think. While I am there, I meet a young man. His name is Ken. He is 26 years old. Ken has kind and warm eyes, and he looks like a good person. He is also studying at the library, working with computers. Ken sees me looking sad. He comes closer and asks me, "Why are you sad?" I feel a little surprised, but his voice is gentle. I decide to tell him about my dream to become an engineer in America. I also tell him about my family's wish for me to marry a rich man. I explain how difficult this situation is for me. Ken listens to everything I say. He does not interrupt me. He just listens with a kind and understanding face. After I finish speaking, he does not offer solutions or advice right away. He simply nods. Sharing my story with him makes my heart feel a little lighter. It is good to talk to someone who listens without judgment. This meeting with Ken gives me a small feeling of hope that day. Maybe my dream is not completely impossible. Maybe there is a way. 2. A bad plan. My father had a plan for my future. He chose a man for me to marry. His name was Marco. Marco was a rich man from our town. My father believed Marco could help our family with money. He told me about Marco, and I met him a few times. Marco often spoke about his money, not about love or shared dreams. I felt nothing special for him. I knew I could not marry him. One day, my father spoke to me about the marriage. He said it was time for me to agree. I felt scared, but I had to speak my truth. I looked at my father and said, "I cannot marry Marco. I do not love him." My father's face changed. He became very angry. His voice was loud. "You are selfish, Dina," he shouted. "You shame our family." His words hurt me deeply. I felt a heavy weight. I did not want to shame anyone, but I could not marry a man I did not love. That night, I felt very sad and lost. I walked outside our house. The air was cool and the night was dark. I walked alone. Tears came to my eyes and I cried quietly. My dream to be an engineer in America seemed far away. My future looked dark. Suddenly, I heard a voice. "Dina," it was Ken. He walked towards me and saw my tears. He did not ask many questions, he simply understood. He took off his jacket and put it around my shoulders. His jacket felt warm and comforting. Ken spoke softly. His voice was kind. He said, "Dina, you cannot live for other people. You must live for yourself." These words were very powerful. They went straight to my heart. No one had ever told me that before. My family always told me to think of them, but Ken told me to think of myself. His words gave me a new feeling. A small light appeared in my dark thoughts. Maybe Ken was right. Maybe I could still fight for my own life and my own dream. For the first time since my father's anger, I felt a little hope. Ken's kindness and his words helped me feel stronger. This bad plan was not the end. It was perhaps a new start for my fight. I decided I would try to follow my dream. 3. A secret friend. Dina and Ken began to meet in secret. They met in a small cafe away from the eyes of the town. They would sit at a quiet table. They often drank coffee together, talking for hours. Ken helped Dina study for her dream of becoming an engineer. He taught her many new things about computers. He explained that if she wanted to be an engineer, she must understand these topics well. Dina listened carefully. She took many notes in her notebook. She learned very quickly. Ken was a good teacher, and he made learning fun. He always believed in Dina. He believed in her dream even more than she believed in herself. His support gave Dina much hope. She felt stronger and more confident about her future. However, people in the town began to notice their secret meetings. Soon, rumors started to spread. People talked about Dina and Ken. They said bad things about Dina. They said she was not a good daughter because she spent time with Ken. They also talked about Ken. They said he was poor and had no money. They believed he could not give Dina a good future or help her family. The words spread quickly through the small town like a fast wind. Dina's father heard these rumors. He became very angry. He grew more strict with Dina. He did not want her to see Ken anymore. He wanted her to stop meeting him. One day, he took a key and locked Dina inside her room. He told her she could not leave. He wanted to keep her away from Ken. Dina felt sad and trapped. She missed Ken very much, but she did not give up. She still wanted to talk to him. She found a way to communicate. She started to write Ken letters. She wrote about her day, her studies, and her feelings. She carefully hid these letters inside old books in her room. Ken knew where to find them. He would secretly come and take her letters. Then, he would leave his own letters for her to find. This way, they still stayed in touch. Their friendship grew stronger, even when they could not speak or meet openly. Even in silence, their connection was very important to both of them. 4. A big problem. One evening, Marco came to my house. He brought many expensive gifts. He smiled and said, "Dina will be my wife soon." My heart beat fast. I looked at my father, my mother, and Marco. I knew I had to be strong. I took a deep breath. "No," I said loudly. "I do not love you, Marco. I will not marry you." Silence filled the room. Everyone stared. My father's face became red. Marco looked surprised, then angry. My mother looked sad. My words were out. I had said no. Soon, the news spread through our small town. People talked about me. They said I was a bad daughter and shamed my family. Some looked at me with angry eyes. Others whispered when I walked by. It was a big problem. I felt alone. My decision made many unhappy. My father did not speak to me. He was very disappointed. The next day, Ken came to our house. He wanted to speak with my father, who was in the living room. Ken walked in and stood tall, looking straight into my father's eyes. "I love Dina," Ken said bravely. "I want to help her follow her dream." My father looked at Ken and started to laugh loudly. It was a mean laugh. "You," my father said, "you have no money. How will you send Dina to America? How will you help her become an engineer?" Ken did not look away. He kept his eyes firm. "I have nothing now," Ken said, "but I will work very hard every day. I will save my money. I will not give up on Dina or her dream." My father stopped laughing. He just looked at Ken, his expression serious. Ken's words were very strong. He truly meant them. I was listening from my room. I felt proud of Ken's bravery. He stood up for me and our love, but I also felt sad. My heart broke a little. I did not want Ken to suffer. My decision was causing big problems, not just for me, but for Ken too. It was a big problem for everyone. 5. A difficult decision. My family stopped talking to me. After I refused Marco, our home was silent. My father was very angry. He told me I could not live in his house. He said if I did not marry Marco, I must leave. My heart was sad. My home felt unsafe. My mother saw my sadness. She knew my dream was important. One night she came to my room. She gave me bread and water. Her eyes were full of tears. She whispered, "Go, Dina, do not give up on your dream." Her words gave me hope. I knew she loved me. Later that night, Ken met me under the stars. I told him everything. My father said I must leave. Ken listened. He held my hand. He looked into my eyes. He said, "Dina, we can try to make a new life together." He explained his idea. "It will be hard. Life will not be easy, but if we work, we can save money. We can build something. You can still follow your dream." I thought about his words. Leaving my home was a big, scary step, but staying meant marrying Marco and losing my dream. Ken's words were strong. He believed in me. I looked at Ken. I saw his honest face. I felt his warm hand. I knew I could trust him. "Yes, Ken," I said. "I trust you. Let's try together." This decision was difficult, but it felt right. It felt like the only way. The next morning, I packed one bag. It had my clothes and a few books. My mother was waiting. Her eyes were red. She hugged me tightly. She whispered goodbye. I felt her tears. It was hard to leave my mother and my home. My father was there, but he did not look at me. He stood with his back to me. He did not say goodbye. This hurt me, but I had to be strong. I took a deep breath. I walked out of the house. Ken was waiting. We walked away from the town, ready for our new life. 6. A new life. Ken and I moved to a big city. It was a new place, far from our old town. We found a small room. The room was cold, especially at night. It was also very small, but it was our own place. We were happy to have it. This was the start of our new life. Life in the city was not easy. We both needed work to save money. I found a job in a bakery. I woke up early every morning to bake bread and cakes. My hands often hurt, but I tried my best. Ken found a job in a repair shop. He fixed many things like broken machines. He worked long hours. We worked hard for many hours each day. When we came home, we were very tired. But we always remembered our dream, to go to America. Every night, we sat and counted the money we saved. It was not much at first. Saving money felt very slow. Sometimes I felt sad and wanted to cry. The dream seemed very far. When I felt like giving up, Ken always helped me. He would hold my hand and say, "Do not worry, Dina, we will get there, step by step." His words gave me strength. We knew that some people in our old town spoke about us. They said we would fail. They said Ken was foolish, but we did not listen. We continued to work hard. I knew I needed to keep studying for my engineering dream. After working all day, I would come home and take online classes. My eyes often felt tired and my head hurt, but I did not stop. Ken helped me with my studies, especially with math. He explained things clearly. We studied together every night. We helped each other learn. Slowly, I started to feel stronger. I began to believe more in myself. I saw that I was learning new things. I thought, yes, I can become an engineer. It will be hard, but I can do it with Ken. Our new life was difficult, but we had each other. We had a dream, and we worked for it every day. We knew our hard work would help us reach America. 7. A good chance. Life in the city was hard, but Dina and Ken never stopped working. They saved every coin. Every night they studied together. Dina still dreamed of becoming an engineer in America. Ken always supported her dream. He knew how important it was to her. They both believed in their future. One evening, Ken came home with an important letter. His eyes were bright with excitement. "Dina," he said, "look at this." It was information about a special program in America. This program offered scholarships for students who wanted to study engineering. It was a good chance for Dina to follow her dream. Ken had found it after many hours of searching. Dina's heart beat fast. Could this be real? Ken told her, "You must apply." "You are smart, Dina. You can do this." Dina felt a mix of fear and hope. Her hands shook a little as she began to fill out the forms. There were many questions to answer. Ken helped her with every answer. They spent many hours together on the application. Finally, they sent it. Now they had to wait for news. Weeks passed slowly. Dina worked in the bakery, and Ken worked in the repair shop. They thought about the application every day. Would she be accepted? Would her dream finally come true? The waiting was difficult, but they tried to stay positive. Then, one morning, an email arrived. Dina opened it with Ken by her side. She read the words, and a big smile spread across her face. Then she screamed with happiness. "I am accepted," she cried. Tears came to her eyes, and she hugged Ken tightly. Ken also had tears in his eyes. He was so proud. "See, Dina," he said, "I told you." But the email also said something else. The scholarship was good, but it did not cover everything. They still needed money for the airplane ticket to America. It was a large amount of money. Dina and Ken knew they had to work even harder. Ken started working night shifts at the repair shop. Dina asked for extra hours at the bakery. They were often very tired. Their bodies ached, but their spirits were strong. They remembered their goal every day. They saved every single penny. They knew this was their chance to make the dream real. Months went by. They worked and saved. Slowly, their money grew. One day, they counted it all. "We have enough," Ken said with a big smile. Dina could not believe it. They had saved enough money for the airplane ticket. Her dream was closer than ever before. 8. A new start. The big day arrived. It was the day Dina would fly to America. She woke up early as the sun rose. She felt happy, nervous, and a little sad. Her small bag held everything important. This was a new start. She took a deep breath, ready for her journey. Her mother came to say goodbye. Her father did not come. Dina's mother hugged her tightly, eyes wet but smiling. "I am so proud of you, Dina," her mother whispered. "Go and follow your dream." Dina hugged her back. Leaving her mother was hard, but her mother's open support made Dina feel strong. She knew she was not alone. Ken walked with Dina to the airport, his hand holding hers. They did not speak much, their hearts understood. At the gate, they stopped. Ken looked into Dina's eyes. "This is not goodbye, Dina," he said, his voice soft but firm. "I will come to America. I will join you there one day, I promise." Tears filled Dina's eyes. She nodded. "I will wait for you, Ken," she said. "I will work hard for us." They shared a long hug. It was a promise of future, not an end. Ken smiled bravely, wanting her to be happy. Dina walked to the plane, looking back one last time. Ken stood, watching her. She waved, and he waved back. Inside, she found her window seat. The plane moved faster and faster. Soon, it left the ground. Dina looked down. The city became small. Her old life was below, getting smaller. She thought about her town and her family. She remembered hard times, Her father's anger, Marco, Ken's kind words, their secret meetings. She remembered working hard in the city and the scholarship. All these things made her strong, bringing her to this moment. She felt sadness for leaving, but much more hope for what was next. She opened her eyes. The sky was blue, clouds like soft cotton. She was going to a new place to study engineering. Dina smiled. She had fought for her dream and did not give up. She had love and courage. This was a new start, a big journey. She knew it would be hard, but she was ready. She had Ken's promise, her mother's pride, and her own dream. She looked out at the wide sky. Her future was waiting.